Good evening, Rabbit Troop Sucks listeners, or I could even say good afternoon. I have no idea when you're actually listening to this. But tonight, for us, and for whenever you listen to this, we'll be covering Martin and Orloff from 2002. And again, we have our friend Lamar joining us to discuss Martin and Orloff from 2002.
Hello, guys.
Yay!
Thank you for having me back.
He's back.
I'm back.
He's back.
I'm averaging every 2 weeks or so.
That's right.
I like it.
I enjoy this. I love this. I like what you guys have put out here, and I've been listening to some of your episodes, and I know you're on a weekly release base.
At least for now.
Yeah.
For now, yeah.
So I subscribe to you, and I'm listening to it, and I'm enjoying it.
So you're the one who's listening to this. You're the one.
You're the
listening.
one who gets the review counts.
Yeah.
How many are we at? 1?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no, 3 because Paul and I both listen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you should definitely give us ratings and scores,
Yeah.
all of you.
And I can confirm that you guys are on Google Podcasts, and
That's excellent.
Yeah, your releases are on Fridays. That might change in the future. I'm guessing maybe not.
Yeah, Fridays for now. We'll see what happens. But I was just kidding. We have plenty of listeners.
Oh, that's good.
We have 2 or 3
Tens and tens of
hostage listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this review.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Yeah, let me open with a summary. This was Lamar's choice for us to watch. I know sometime in the future we talked about watching Fortress, or we have another one in mind that we'll hold off for, but I imagine us watching Fortress at some point in time.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But yeah, Lamar highlighted that we should watch this. One of us had a DVD. Unfortunately, I feel this is the only way to actually see this movie. All 3 of us are gonna, highlight that we like it, and we've seen it over the years with one another. But to highlight again, this movie is from 2002, Martin and Orloff. Martin tried to kill himself. He's back at the advertising agency with everybody knowing. He sees a shrink, Dr. Orloff, with hilarious results. And I guess that's how I describe that film.
Sure.
According to IMDb, that's how I describe that film.
Yeah.
I chose this film because it just popped up. I was just randomly watching old Upright Citizens Brigade clips on YouTube, and I was like, wow, I really missed that sketch comedy show, and totally forgot, wait a minute, there's a whole movie that involves pretty much this whole cast.
Yeah, I think the world forgot this movie existed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Keep me honest. This was like a made for Comedy Central movie or something like that?
That feels right.
Yeah.
This is how I first saw this movie. So I don't know if I could say it was made for Comedy Central. So Comedy Central went through some weird transformations that I remember, where all of a sudden they were allowed to use profanity and have a little more adult themes. I think, South Park, hey, Colorado,
right.
kicked down the door on that a little bit, and it came to pass. I just don't know when this was happening. And I remember also they used to do like Friday or maybe Saturday night, maybe weekly or somewhat monthly movies where they're like straight up, it's rated R, don't have your kids watch. I mean, they were very clear about the advertisements of it, and I think people watch. I don't know if that's what happened or that's how it premiered. I know for a fact I saw this movie. I don't remember if it was censored or not. I just remember we saw it later after that.
That makes sense. I mean, like it's in 4:3 aspect ratio, so like this clearly wasn't a theatrical release, I guess.
It feels like it was right before that time period. I just wanted to bring up is 2002. This movie was released.
I'm surprised this movie hasn't gotten more. Maybe I like it more than the rest of the world, but like this movie has everyone in it right now. Amy, can I talk about this, or are we spoiling?
Oh yeah, no. I think I know we shouldn't get too far. As Lamar is joining us, as always, I'm Paul, and next to me is Mike.
Hey.
We should always say that.
They
Better late than never.
What is this? Episode 11. They know who we are.
They know something. They know things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Amy Poehler's in this.
Yes.
Tina Fey is in this.
John Benjamin,
who is the voice actor for everything on the planet right now. Matt Walsh, who plays many things, including Mike, if you've seen Veep, which you should because it's great.
Rachel Dratch,
David
Cross,
David Cross,
Andy Richter.
Andy, like literally not every. Well, there's so many like famous notable comedy actors in this
Also,
movie
the
right
lead,
now.
Martin is Ian Roberts, and we were talking. Maybe not everyone knows him as much as they would, see Amy Poehler, etc. But there are everyone from the Upright Citizens Brigade from the show is on this. I'm assuming other characters are also Upright Citizens
Yeah,
brigade
the
members.
Weasley guy, like Martin's boss is. I don't remember his name.
The boss's name is Ron.
Yeah, but I don't know what his name. I don't know what the
You
actor's
know,
name is.
I always forget his name too. I can always remember the other three of that trope, of that main trope. I can
Matt
never remember
Besser.
him. Hey, there you go.
Okay, sure.
All right. He's the weird looking one.
And they're all great. I mean, this is a super weird movie, but it's great. I thought it's super fun.
Yeah, people would recognize him from Parks and Recreation. It's Ira and the douche, and Nick Kroll is the douche.
He's
and
Ira.
He's Ira. Yeah.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that. That's a good
Every
call.
one of these people have appearances in Parks and Recreation,
yeah.
with Amy Poehler at the head of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they stuck together through all these years, and they still do projects
Totally.
together.
Yeah.
I believe you can find Matt Walsh in some other stuff as well. But he's not, or I mean, Ian Roberts and other stuff, but he's not as prevalent as Matt Walsh is with his guest appearances.
We watched that End of the World movie last year. Remember, like no one saw. We never saw it. Matt Walsh was the storm chaser of that movie.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was a
Okay.
terrible movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's not a ringing endorsement,
good
but we all love Matt
Yeah.
Walsh, and that was not his shining moment. But yeah, he's been in tons of stuff.
Fantastic cast.
Yeah. Yeah. All in all, everyone's doing a great job. The cast is definitely outpacing the screenplay.
Or the dated camera,
Yeah, it definitely
stuff.
feels a little bit aged. It's not super crisp. I mean, we're watching like a weird DVD, so like it doesn't look great to begin with, but yeah, I mean it's definitely not contemporary filmmaking like you're used to. It looks like someone's student film kind of. Yeah.
Well, we open up with this movie, and it is super dark. We're in a very, very white room and a very, very sterile setting. There's also, we are very quickly introduced to the main character, played by Ian Roberts, who is Martin, also known as Marty, of the Martin and Orloff title. And while we are given almost a bird's eye view of
The whitest apartment on the planet.
yeah, we see Marty laying in a couch. He gets a phone call like, hey, I know you tried to kill yourself, but we'll see you back at work. And clearly that's the backdrop of this very, very dark comedy. I noted that while the answering machine message is playing and the main character is listening to this, there is someone just standing in a pickle outfit in the middle of his room.
Was that a person? I thought it was like a cutout, like a cardboard cutout.
Maybe it was as well.
I think there was a human head
might
in
have
there.
just like a
so-
person in
yeah,
there.
maybe there's just a mannequin
Well, it's
in
good.
there.
Did it have eye holes? Is that how you could tell?
It did. Yeah, eye holes are going to be
There's a foreshadowing there. Yeah.
crucial in this. And then we also see him in his bathroom, and he is cleaning up the blood from his clear suicide attempt. So clearly dark overtones open this up. And then we get a magical song overlaid on top of the blood cleansing, and it's gray skies are going to clear up, put on a happy face.
It really cuts the movie lets you know that it's going to be silly right off the bat because this happy song is playing as he's mopping up huge amounts of blood. You really don't know how he's trying to kill himself. All you know is that he's mopping up his blood in his bathroom, and there's a happy song playing in the background.
Yeah.
I have theories why we are not seeing this on streaming services. I would imagine a lot of people do not like this dark overtone.
Maybe, but I don't know. Wasn't there a popular Netflix show a couple years ago about a girl who killed herself?
That's very true.
Definitely not comedic. Yes.
Sure. But I mean, they don't really make light of his suicide attempt.
Well, if you're gonna go off that one, Netflix then eventually I was gonna say deleted, but they edited it. They edited things based out of public demand and outrage, and they caved. They what's the term they use here? He changed his mind, but when he's an umpire, he
oh shit! Yeah,
Wow.
I don't
What's that
remember.
term?
He changed his call.
he changed his call. That's what Netflix did.
Yeah.
So boom, Netflix. I agree with Mike. Let's get it on there. If you're willing to
Put on blast.
approach themes, just give warnings.
Yeah,
Again, because there's a million awesome people in this.
right. Okay, so he goes. He's cleaning up the blood. He goes back to work. As he's walking in, everyone. I should talk into my microphone. Everyone's whispering like, "That's the guy." Oh my god. And he walks into his boss's office with the weasel guy. What's his name?
Ron is the boss.
Ron is the
Okay.
boss, yeah. And there's a bunch of guys doing kung fu, like nunchuck
nunchucks,
stuff,
yep.
yeah. And Ron says, "Oh, hey, Martin's here. He's the best food character man in the business." And this is where we're introduced to what Marty does. He works for an advertising agency and he designs like anthropomorphic food mascots.
Yeah, he knows he designs characters.
He designs characters. He's the best food character man in the business. And the people doing karate in the office are the associates of China Chef, who are launching a new saucy spare rib, and they want him to design a costume for the saucy spare ribs.
He's that good.
Yeah, he's the one that they
And
want.
they've got a new sauce. And Mr. Chan wants it now.
Mr. Chan wants it now, and his demand specifically is that it does not have eye holes. No
Yeah.
eye holes in
Yeah,
the
it gets
spare rib.
very, very clear about that. No eye holes.
Yeah. They reference something with an egg roll, but they'll elaborate on that later. Now we cut to Marty is going to therapy. I don't know if that's part of like the deal or if he just thinks he should, but he just survived a suicide attempt, so it makes sense. So this is where we meet Dr. Orloff. So he goes into Dr. Orloff's office.
Whoa. As he walks into the office, he walks into a firehouse, which I am very confident
This
is from
office
Ghostbusters.
is dope as fuck.
Yeah, is it not the same firehouse from Ghostbusters? It looks very similar.
It really did.
Yeah, I don't know. It did look similar.
Call me Dr. Orloff. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So he goes in, he gets introduced. There's a couple little wacky incidents along the way, but right off the bat, Dr. Orloff is kind of a weird guy. He's eating a sandwich, and just right off the bat, why'd you try to kill yourself, Marty?
I think he even
Do
asked
you
it.
mind if I smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you mind if I smoke? Then he accidentally sets his desk on fire a little bit. He's eating a sandwich. He realizes that he has mayonnaise on his face from the sandwich and says, "Marty, do I have mayonnaise on my face? Why didn't you tell me?"
Yeah, he had that mayonnaise on his face for a while.
He had mayonnaise on his face for a while, and that kind of this is a foreshadowing of how their friendship develops, because he was embarrassed to tell him about the mayonnaise, but they get over that. And he just insists that he tell him why he tried to kill himself. There's no easing into it. That's his hard and fast therapy style. But then, oh my God, he realizes he's late for a softball game.
It's 12:13.
12:13. Oh my God, guys, I got to go to the softball game. Marty, you're coming with me. So
My mind is an idiot.
my mind is an idiot. Yeah. So they drive to this softball game.
You can tell the zaniness of how this is going to go down. This guy is trying to kill himself. He's in therapy, and within 3 minutes, this therapist has asked him if it's okay if he smokes right in front of him. Spouts out some psychobabble about how he's gonna, he has a big theory about whatever. He starts revealing that he's pretty much a hack, and that in 5 minutes he's running off to his little softball session.
Yeah, so they're driving to the softball game. He's getting changed in the car. This is very alarming for Marty. Marty's like, I got to get back to work. He's like, no, this is going to be good for you.
The two comments that you're going to hear all throughout this film is, this is going to be good for you, and why did you kill yourself? And I know it's really, kind of abrasive. I feel this movie holds up, and just I think a lot of people are going to be polarized opposite, where I don't find it funny that someone would say, why did you try to kill yourself? But honestly, if you watch this whole movie start to finish, there are breakthroughs, and this character does reveal a lot of stuff, even in this goofy, zany film, which I kind of like the juxtaposition of super serious in a weird world. It's like the main character is super serious in a Alice in Wonderland type, what the hell is going on, step-by-step situation.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So they get to the softball game at the last minute, because it was explained earlier that if he doesn't get there, they have to forfeit because they'd be short a player. That's why he was so pressed to get there. So he pulls up, he jumps out of the car.
And we were greeted to the most recognizable voice for me, honestly, in the contemporary age, which is H. John Benjamin.
John Benjamin, and it's like he walks into Cheers. Everyone says "Hound," and can I even say this on this podcast, or is this hard language? So Martin says, why is everyone calling you Hound? And Orloff goes, well, it's short for cunt hound. And he just goes, okay. So yeah, we've got a little young baby boy, John Benjamin, who's Nick. What's his character's name? Steve.
Keith.
Keith.
Yeah.
It was Keith. Yeah. And this, they're setting him up to be just a crazy person.
He's the wild card.
Yeah, he is the wild card. Yeah. In this like Scooby Doo Ghostbusters ensemble, he is the wild card. I can't read my notes anymore. My handwriting's too terrible.
Well, basically,
yeah, either of you can talk.
Yeah, he's trained at becoming an umpire really quickly, and he doesn't want to do this, but this is going to be good for you.
Oh yeah, they're not able to play because they don't have an umpire. Yeah, Martin says.
So Martin fills in, and he's really hesitant. You know, the first ball is thrown, and it's clearly a ball, not a strike, and you know he takes this long pause. Ball. All right, okay, we got a game going on. Great. And then you see, you know, really the time elapse of
and then he's getting into it.
Yeah, he's becoming more comfortable, and not only that is clearly the team that he knows members on, which is his doctor, and now he has been introduced to H. John Benjamin's character. It's like, okay, this guy's in, and he's tagging them out more than anyone else. I noticed he is just clearly making bad calls. There's like there's one scene where like a guy slides into home. Maybe it's a little questionable. He's like, "You're out of here," but it's the doc's team. Then another guy, he slides across home. 5 seconds go by, and he's like, "You're out." Yeah, so he's making clearly bad calls, and the doc keeps it kind of highlighting, tone it down, and H. John Benjamin is getting much more agitated as time goes on.
Yeah, and then it comes to like the game winning or losing, I suppose. Maneuver, baseball move. I don't know sports. And it is Orloff who is heading for home plate, and Marty calls him out,
and he's clearly safe.
He's clearly safe, yeah. And everyone's like, it's a bad call, and they do the little chest bumping thing, and then he relents. He's like, okay, well, you're safe, and then John Benjamin kicks his ass. Because you can't change your call.
Yeah, and he's like, but he's on my team. And he later says, he's on my team, but you don't change a call, which is a theme. Like, you gotta stick with what
gotta stick with it.
And it's sticking with your gut. Like, the umpire kind of analogy does really work. Like, you have to make split decisions. You know what's right, and you've got to stick with it. And it is kind of a theme that goes through, again, the zany comedy. Yeah,
and so a big fight ensues, and they all get arrested.
You kind of feel like they're kind of bonding. I like the transition during the softball game. It just kind of feels like they're getting along more, where their first therapy session was just a 5-minute meeting. You can see the transition of Martin's really getting into it. Orloff is clearly kind of just trying to cheer him up.
Yeah, he's trying to cheer him up. He's trying to, make some connections. And Martin is kind of like, he's outside of his comfort zone for the first time, and he's sort of enjoying that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the point of that.
Yeah.
You can see that he's got a smile on his face now. He enjoyed he actually even enjoyed getting arrested. You can see a little smile on his face when the cops showed up.
Yeah, and so, and Orloff says, have you ever been arrested? We'll be out of here in an hour. And then, true to that, we see him walking out of the police station, and Martin's like, I gotta get my portfolio. I'm supposed to be at work right now. He's like, okay, we'll get you back. We just got to stop for hot dogs. This place has the best hot dogs.
Yeah, Orloff notes, just kind of a side note of his character, they stop many times for the quote-unquote best of the city.
Right.
And it makes me think, I totally want to hang out with Doc Orloff, that these are the best hot dogs. Later it's going to be the best Chinese food. This guy seems to have connections, and everyone seems really pleased with his food decisions. There's pies later. Yeah, so we get some hot dogs in the park, and I do like that you don't see the hot dog vendor's face, but you hear this gruff voice like, "Arr," and you see these bandaged hands, and Doc Orloff's like, what went on? He's like, oh, it was really bad when the grill and the gas exploded, and then I was knocked face down into the grill, and I have to put the salve on my hands every 30 minutes, and these like stumps are giving him hot dogs.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. John Benjamin rolls up with the car for some reason. Like, I hotwired your car. Just give me 1 second. He runs into the bathroom, and he runs out. And he's like, guys, we got to get out of here. They go, oh shit, look, let's get in the car. What's going on? He's like, we got to get out of here. I just shit in the sink.
Which will be a theme.
Which will
for
be a
them.
theme. And the hot dog is like, you son of, I knew it was you. Shitting in my sink. Apparently the hot dog stand has a sink. So they're driving Martin back to work now. And Dr. Orloff and John Benjamin are getting a little high in the car. Martin's not really cool with this. And to kind of break the tension, John Benjamin's like, Marty, why don't you put some music on? And he puts on some classical music, like some Debussy or something. And John Benjamin says something insensitive that I won't. I was like, what is this, classical music? What is this, from like the 30s? And he changes the channel to what is some pretty hard rap, which I believe was written by... it was one of the actors who wrote this, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was Ian Roberts.
Okay, yeah.
He wrote the lyrics, but did anyone see what the title of the piece was?
I didn't see what the song was.
We saw it at the end, and I noted it, but I didn't write it down.
It's credited. It's probably a real song out there in its full
If there-
length.
yeah.
But we just got experts from it, and the lyrics are gold.
The lyrics are gold. That's true. I wrote some of them down. I don't know if anyone wants to hear this. Do you want to hear it? Or do you want me to skip over it? Get ready for the...
I'm going to snap at the end.
Yeah. Could you please?
Here's a sample of it.
It's I'm going to lubricate my gun with some KY jelly, stick it up your ass, and shoot you through your belly. Shit. You can cry like a bitch. Giddy up, bitch. Suck my dick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta find the name of this song.
I didn't hear any snapping though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Little bongos.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the only expert from the song. It kept playing in the background, but
Yeah, and they were talking over, and I couldn't really hear.
yeah.
I don't want to
song.
know if that's what.
I mean, I'm sure Hallmark ran with that for Valentine's Day for many years
It's in a
ago.
card somewhere,
Sure.
probably. Yeah, that's what I get from my father every year. Okay.
Oh, Lou.
Yeah, Lou. Maybe we can get him on the podcast someday.
Not after that.
No, he'll never. He'll never do it. He doesn't know what this is.
He'll bring years of these cards. I've collected.
Yeah,
them
all
for
of the.
these years.
I keep them in a folio, one of those accordion style ones. He's got it still. No, he doesn't. He won't listen to this. He doesn't know what a podcast is. I don't think they have them in Maine yet.
Wow. Well, now quick cut to strip club. We're at a strip club where we're going to meet one of my favorite actors on earth. Everyone we got really silent. Like, you
Yeah,
don't
no,
know
who is it?
I
Who
was
is?
Amy
thinking-
Poehler. I love Amy Poehler.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Amy Poehler. Yeah, they go to a strip club because Martin says, I'll get you back to work. We just got to stop at this one place. They have the best sweet potato pie. And initially Martin is like, he doesn't know where they're at.
I also like that the sweet potato pie situation comes back around.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yes, it does.
So Hound and John Benjamin run into this place, and Martin's just standing there on the street like, oh fuck. So he eventually goes in, and he realizes they're in a strip club, and he sits down, and they order the sweet potato pie, and he's eating. It's like, this is actually really good pie, and the bartender, what was it? It was like Stavros or something.
I can't remember his name.
It was like a Greek.
Yeah,
a Greek
I have
guy.
it noted somewhere.
He's like, do you really like the pie? You should tell my mother you like the pie. She makes it herself. He's like, okay.
Petros.
Petros, there we go. So that wasn't, saying Stavros wasn't like insensitive. He opens up like a hatch on the floor, and we see in this
some,
weird dungeon, like his
a
mother.
bakery dungeon?
Yeah, like a bakery dungeon. She's making pies, and he leans over. He's like, I really like the pie. He goes, she lives for the compliments.
She lives for the compliments. I noted at this point in time, so this movie, although we're at a strip club, there's no nudity or anything. This movie's all about, rated R for the language and, the situations. So one of the strippers in the back is a astronaut stripper. They're like, welcome, Dawn. And
Astronaut stripper is my favorite.
and she comes out and she has just like a full space
Right,
mask and suit, and she only takes off the mask and then like parades around.
That is accurate, yeah. But this is where we meet. Before we meet Amy Poehler, we meet Dr. Orloff's girlfriend, who he refers to as Strippy, Kasha, who he's in a relationship with, and then Amy Poehler comes out and is introduced as the friend
Who becomes a love interest.
who becomes a love interest. She kind of takes a shine to Martin.
Was it implied that Amy Poehler's character was a stripper.
It was not implied.
or
She
she's
straight up
just a
says
friend
that she
of
was a
a-
stripper.
Because he later says, like, oh, what do you do? And she
She
says,
goes,
I'm a stripper. No, like, but what else? Oh, no,
no,
I'm
just a stripper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're all kind of getting to know each other at the strip club, eating the pie.
And Kasha reveals that they have to go to a play. There's a dinner play night.
They have tickets to a dinner theater, and Orloff goes, "Great, you know what? This is going to be good for you, Martin. You're going to be what's Amy Poehler's character's name?
Patty.
Patty. You're going to be Patty's date." And he, like, at this point, he's just missing a whole day of work, but that seems fine.
I think it was more he just had to work on the imagery. I don't
Yeah,
think he had to.
he
be
didn't
at
have to
work.
be there, yeah.
But the next day he does. Like it is made clear that he had to do this stuff for the meeting that will take place the next day.
Okay, but so he agrees to kind of to be this date, and they're getting to know each other. That's where the I'm a stripper, just a stripper thing comes up. But so they go to the dinner theater place, and I don't remember what the dinner theater was called. It had a name.
The Mint Julep Club.
No, like the Mint Julep Club was the play
Yes.
they were seeing, but the club, it was like candlelight. It doesn't matter.
Nice,
Yeah, so they get there and they go, "Oh, it's the Mint Julep Club," and Orloff goes, "Finally, a play about Southern ladies at a beauty salon." And we,
Oh man, and the cast of Southern Ladies, holy God,
yeah,
is
so
off the rails.
The play starts, and the three main characters of the Mint Julep Club are Tina Fey, Rachel Dratch, and Janine Garofalo.
yeah.
Tina Fey. This is her first appearance in anything, I guess, that wasn't like Second City or whatever she was doing.
That's crazy to think about.
I know, right?
This right here.
This is
where
Genesis.
it's all
Yeah,
started.
I mean, as a huge 30 Rock fan, this is where it all came from.
And Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are really good friends. They've hosted things together. They've
Right.
noted their friendship for years and on many different situations.
It took me a while to realize Janine Garofalo in this scene. She's under a lot of makeup, but
Well, I mean,
when
there's
it zooms
makeup.
up on her. You can definitely tell it's her.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell with all. I mean, Rachel Dratch is pretty distinctive looking. But yeah, I mean, it took me a second to realize that this was Tina Fey as well. Like they're all younger than you are used to them being.
And during this play, we have Andy Richter, who is ushering everyone around.
Oh yeah, Andy Richter is getting cucked by Dr. Orloff every which way.
What was Andy Richter? Was he a waiter or
He was like the
just a
maitre d'
guest?
or
Okay,
the
that
whatever,
makes more
yeah.
sense because they were dressing him down and talking down.
Oh
to
yeah,
him, like-
constantly. Yeah. At one point, Dr. Orloff he's smoking a cigar, quite obviously, and Andy Richter comes up and says, "Oh, sir, you can't smoke." And he's like, "Oh, it's not lit, I assure you."
Yeah, I assure you. He says, "Sound good to you, champ?" Fine.
Yeah, like he
And-
talks his way into a better table. Yeah, he's getting bitched
And
out.
this is where Marty is talking to Patty, and he says like, "Oh, outside of a stripper, what else, do you like to do?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just a stripper." That was
just
it.
a stripper.
Okay.
So the play turns out to be about someone trying to kill themselves, and this kind of makes Martin uncomfortable. So they all leave, and then Dr. Orloff and Martin try to have a little session in the lobby, but that doesn't really land.
But I feel all these sessions, because this keeps trying to happen,
Yeah.
like in the paddy wagon here or later, they're having these micro sessions that does kind of equate to something greater. Like I do feel, as weird as this film is, and I mean that as a compliment, this movie kind of makes sense to me that sooner or later someone would be like, all these small talks added up to something bigger, if you pay attention.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that. Is you're talking about those little micro sessions or those little just burst sessions that they have. This one here that they have an interesting conversation about what constitutes a friendship. Mm-hmm. And Martin's insisting, no, we're not friends, because he's not buying his crackpot little psychiatry that he's pulling off. And Orloff's like, yeah, we're friends. We've been arrested together.
Yeah,
We've
that I
We're on
thought
a
that was a
double date?
legitimate talk.
been on
Yeah.
a double date together. Yeah, we're friends.
And then
Interesting.
he goes, and you have a little cigar in your mouth. And Dr. Orloff wipes it off and goes, Thank you, friend.
Yeah.
Call back to the mayo.
Good
Yeah.
callback.
So then now we're introduced to David Cross, who we found out wrote the Mint Julep Club.
The director and writer of
Director
Mint
and
Julep Club.
writer of Mint Julep Club. And he really wants Dr. Orloff's feedback.
I want to say this on the side. Rabbit Troop Sucks has been brought to you by the Mint Julep Club.
The Mint Julep Club would have also been a pretty good name for this podcast.
That could be some side episodes.
Okay, yeah. When the Mint Julep Club introduces the Shim Sham.
I'm going to wear like one of those like big sun hats that those women wear, like those just like gigantic.
Obviously.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that. I'm going to have a mint julep. I'm going to look like a weird version of Pharrell. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm going to wear a seersucker suit. But like with short shorts, like from AC/DC.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you guys go that route, I may limit my appearances. On
Okay.
the show.
That's well. Okay. This is the last feature with Lamar. We've scared
All
him
right.
off.
All right, Seabiscuit.
No, are you kidding me? I'm all in. What the hell? Why not?
He's back.
Yeah. So David Cross comes out and he's kind of off-putting. He's pretty abrasive. Jesus. He's like abrasive and aggressive. And
Yeah, this guy's like drama queen.
yeah,
start to
he's like
finish.
super drama queen. Orloff is just trying to get the fuck out of there. And he's like, no, I really want your opinion. I want to know if it's like, if my play is psychologically correct.
Yeah, this is funny for me because Dr. Orloff pulls kind of a brilliant move. He's like, listen, he clearly hates this guy. He
Right.
clearly hates this play. He goes, we all loved your play. And everyone just nodding and kind of just half agreeing. He's like, we loved it, but it brought up some psychological issues for my friend because he tried to commit suicide. So we just need to leave. It's such a powerful piece. It spoke to him in so many ways. It's overbearing. That's how good you did.
Yeah.
And David Cross is so pleased with
Yeah.
it.
But it's also worth noting that no one else in this room knows that Martin tried to kill himself.
Yes.
So they think he's doing a bit. So that kind of works. And they
Get into a cab and talk about that some more.
they get into Orloff's car and they're driving home. And Martin and Orloff are kind of riffing back and forth about, how the play brought stuff up. And Amy Poehler's like, wait, but that was a gag, right? Like you didn't really try to kill yourself. And Martin and Orloff are just like cracking up like, no, I did. I tried to kill myself. And they're laughing about this so hard they're having a breakthrough that he just crashes into a mailbox.
Yeah, and Amy Poehler sees that he does have slit wrist scars.
Yeah, she sees the
It
scars.
is the longest laughing about.
Yeah, oh yeah. So like they crash in the mailbox.
Here's another Dr. Orloff genius move.
Yeah, and while still laughing uncontrollably, just immediately goes to the trunk, gets out a baseball bat, and starts beating the shit out of his own car. And Martin, again, while still cracking up, is like, "What are you even doing?" It's like, "I got too many points on my license.
I gotta report this as
I got to
stolen.
report this is stolen."
I think there were a bunch of parking tickets on his hood.
Oh,
I
that
couldn't
wouldn't be
recall.
surprising. Yeah,
So this indicates that
yeah,
violating a lot of traffic laws.
yeah. So
Yeah, everyone goes on their own
yeah,
way. So like the double
Orloff and
date.
Strippy go home, and Martin and
And so part of their backstory is Dr. Orloff, the woman he's dating, she wants to get married. She wants a kid and wants a family and wants to start it all. And
she's holding out on him.
yeah, so, he's like, oh, we're going to go have sex. And she's like, no, we're not. Like, we're not doing any of that until you could actually commit to me. And so they part ways, and then Patty and Marty walk off, and they go back to Patty's house. And she's like, listen, let's just have tonight be whatever you want it to be. We'll figure out things tomorrow.
Well, wait, we've got a whole street scene here that I feel is worth bringing up. They're talking about like sadness, and she narrates to him. She's like, I'm no stranger to sadness. I used to keep my dead dog in the freezer, and Mart's like, I'm sorry, what? And we have this flashback scene of, when she brings it up, it sounds worse. But then it's like, she was a child and their family dog died in the wintertime. And so the ground was too frozen to bury him. So they have like the saddest looking father wrapping this dead dog in like saran wrap and putting it in a freezer. Because, every time I went to get like a popsicle, I had to move this dead dog out of the way.
I had to get ground beef for dinner, and they'd say, go to the basement.
Right.
But I would pet it, and I would say, I'm sorry, like we did this to you. And
Right.
then when she's done with this story, she just looks directly into Marty's eyes and says, I know what it's like to be really depressed.
And so then she explains that, she's having a rough time because she's getting over her ex-boyfriend, Jimbo, who was a football player. who they then run into on the street, surrounded by adoring fans. And Jimbo is this gigantic mountain of a man who is actually played by, I looked this up. Do you know who he is?
No.
He's a wrestler, so I thought that might be in your wheelhouse.
Okay, who is it?
His wrestling name is Big Sal E, because his name is like Salvatore something or other.
I wrote down my notes for wrestling fans. He looks like an Asian Big Show.
Yeah, kind of. Well, like he was apparently born in Sicily, but raised in New York. I don't know anything else about this person.
Is huge.
Wow, he is huge. And Amy Poehler goes into talking about how it just wasn't working out, even though he had a gigantic penis, which becomes a theme later on. And her line was, just because he has a gigantic penis, he thinks he's not bound to the laws of society. And the penis thing is constant. But yeah, so now we're back to where Paul was talking about. They get back to Amy Poehler's house, and they're talking through some more stuff, and they're like, you know what? Who knows what this is? Like, let's be with each other tonight, and then see what happens.
And that does happen, and
he's like, okay. And then this was this was a line that I did not expect from Amy Poehler. Right after they agree that they're going to be with each other tonight, she looks at him dead-eyed in the face and goes, "You eat pussy, right?" And
then we get a hard cut. We get a hard cut to Dr. O's office. We're back at Dr. Orloff's office. We hear screaming. It sounds like sex at first, and because there was the illusion that I just noted,
right,
that maybe they're having him and his girlfriend are having sex. Is not. Then we hear it's clearly a battle,
right?
And Orloff answers his door, and he is in American Gladiator style fighting with this other one, these huge sticks.
That is exactly what I have written. Yeah,
like clack, clack, clack. Like I think we've seen in Star Trek and various other things. And it turns out this woman is hypnotized, and she's fighting through some issues about forgiving her husband for things, but he doesn't remember the phrase to how to snap her out. So she is just actively trying to kick his ass.
Meanwhile, he's just pinned down. And she's really beating his ass.
Yeah, she's beating the shit out of him. So Marty ends up helping him. Right? Yeah. He ends up helping him.
Well, he gets his portfolio, and he's like, "You should leave. You got it." And
yeah.
And he gets it, and there is this. He gets to the door, and he kind of gives that shrug, like, "This guy is my friend too."
Yeah.
Or like he would do the same, like common decency. This guy needs help, so he runs back in, and they pin this woman down basically with a mattress that was in this office, and then
his office is great. He has like a sweet bed and like I don't know, like a bunch of Cadillacs bookshelves.
Mike and I like weird rooms. We talked about this in Brain Scan.
Yeah, I do like weird rooms.
Yeah, like we just want to chill out in weird rooms. Come on,
weird comfortable rooms.
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, like a nice comfortable.
This has been brought to you by Weird Comfortable Rooms.
Okay, yes. Not like just weird like liminal rooms. Like there's weird.
Not like a Tim Burton weird room.
Yeah,
like just
Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
So yeah, he helps pin this woman down, and Orloff is super grateful. It's like, you know what, I owe you one. And Martin goes, well, my mother's moving next week. You could help out with that. That'll repay your debt. And he's like, okay, that's what friends do.
Yeah.
Then we have.
I have that they're driving to the office.
They're driving to the office.
That Marty's like, listen, I gotta go. I've helped you. And Orloff's like, you know what? I'll just drive you there.
Yeah, he's driving him to the office. He's explaining that he has concerns over the eye holes. They want to have the spare rib costume. We see the China chef guy narrating this skit. The spare ribs are trying to escape from the China chef in the jungle. But the China chef really wants to dip them in the sauce.
Have we even established that this is all about spare ribs up until this point?
I think I mentioned spare ribs. I don't know. Yeah. So he's meant to be designing a spare rib costume.
This is actually when it came more clear of what they wanted.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
In the first scene, it's not really.
The first scene's like, oh, we need you to do another mascot, another character, and I think it's noted as spare rib. But it's just really background. But now it is very clear. Like, it has to be spare ribs.
Got to be a spare rib.
A chain, a rack of spare ribs.
This whole movie was like that. It just became more clear as it went on. I guess movies are just like that. But this movie started off so bizarre. It's just I have
Yeah,
no
like-
idea
Yeah,
what's
totally,
going
yeah.
on,
Lamar's
so-
totally right. Like a lot of people are saying a lot of weird stuff, and you're like, is this a joke? Is this real?
Yeah, that, I guess sometimes we've prefaced movies with this, but like this is a bizarre movie to watch. So like if things that we're saying seem bonkers, it's not just because we're a little drunk. It's because this movie is weird. And yeah, the pacing is kind of weird and the scenes are weird, but it's a lot of fun. So in one of the micro sessions that they have, Orloff is like, you need to stand up for yourself. If you think they need eye holes, you just walk in there and be like, they need eye holes. Tough patootie.
Tough patootie.
Tough
indeed.
patootie. So that's what he does. He goes up to the office and, he talks to China Chef and, he shows him the first couple sketches and the China Chef is like, what? No.
The first sketch
This
is
is
like
bullshit.
the safe sketch where it's like
Right. It's like a guy with a hat and boots on.
it's just like a mesh molding around some guy's foot, and it's like that's the spare rib component. It's just really weird.
It's honestly the worst looking
It is.
costume.
Yeah,
like
oh, it was-
$80 on some foam to put around a guy. It looks like one of those baseball inning uniforms.
Yeah.
with the hot dog and
No, it
hot
does.
dog
It's like a spirit Halloween. It's just like a
Yeah.
plastic bag that says spare rib on it, with like the big foam Hulk fists.
And then he shows like another one, and but it has eye holes, and he's like, you know what, I'm done. And Mike's right. He's like, I rehearsed it. Tough patootie. I'm done. It's awesome.
All the China Chef guys just freak out. They're doing karate moves. Nunchucks are coming out, basically holding everyone hostage. Or Martin runs away. He gets fired. I'm kind of paraphrasing this a little bit because it's not super interesting, but he comes back in. He goes back to his office and he's like, I don't want to be fired. This is bullshit.
And his boss is now being held captive.
His boss is being held captive. So he walks back into the room.
They're throwing. So the crew of Mr. Chen
like throwing matches at him.
They're throwing lit matches.
Yeah.
Just like 2 to 3 dudes with stacks of matchbooks. Just flip.
Right. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna diffuse this. So he walks back in with his like drawing pad,
Same second drawing, but he drew.
but he draws the eyes, and the guy's like, Martin, I fucking love it.
Well, now he took off the eyes. The first one he had the eyes.
Right. Sorry, he erased the eyes. He's like, Martin, I fucking love it. It's like, and then like his little sidekick is whispering to him in Chinese. He's like, yeah, you're right. It's too tall. They should be shorter. And Ron, the boss, is like,
It should be 4 feet.
yeah. He's like, well, you're right. Like my wife hosts a Girl Scout troop. Like they're
Okay, so going back, there's clearly been an accident that we will fully know very soon. But going back, it's like, no. Like, we need a stuntman. Okay, like we could do it, but we need a stuntman. Or they said a character Sherpa. None of these things are happening. So now we don't have the eye holes. There's not going to be a Sherpa. And to make matters worse, as Mike is noting, Ron, the boss, is like, yeah, my wife is in charge of this girls troop, and we could just get any one of those 20 girls. And then someone's like, we don't want just one rib, we want multiple. He's like, a rack of ribs, of course. Like, there's like 20 girls in this troop. Like, you could choose any of these girls. And then now, Martin is freaking out even more.
Yeah, Martin's freaking out. Now we have a montage of the China Chef guys like picking out Girl Scouts. They have like one of the like 7-Eleven height.
His boss's quote when this happened, it was like, you did it, turning little girls into a rack of ribs.
I have interesting notes about this segment.
All right.
I like how you said, you paraphrased kind of that whole section before. I wrote down Martin gets fired, Martin sells out. And weird montage as Martin realizes he threw away his friendship, which is pretty much what this montage pretty much encompasses.
Yeah, so this is him. Like they're picking out girls. They're getting rid of the ones that are too tall. And Martin is just watching this happen, going like, "Oh my god!" Like he's not. Like we see Martin not sleeping. He's not having a good time. He realizes he's done wrong.
The scene's kind of confusing. So I think sometimes it's confusing because I'm looking up and down and taking notes sometimes, that he's asleep and he is foreshadowing what he thinks the next day will be. And essentially it is what the next day will be.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like, these are my fears. But essentially he goes in the next day and it's exactly what he was tossing and turning about.
Exactly. But so now we cut to it's the aforementioned mother moving day. So he's going to help his mother move, and when he gets there, the gang's all there because Orloff said he would help, Even though they had a falling out, he's still there. And not only is he there, but his girlfriend Strippy's there, and John Benjamin is there.
Yep.
John Benjamin is being weird. He's smoking weed out of like a soda can.
Whoa, there's also this weird exchange where Marty is pissed off that he's there, and he's like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "I said I'd help you." And then his mom, Marty's mom, is there. He's like, "Well, he did the sweetest thing," and he's like, "Well, what did he do?" I looked up every flom. That's like, I guess his last name.
Yeah.
Every flom in the book until I found the right one with a mom who was moving. And I had to tell you that it was harder because flom just sounds like a made up last name, and the mom just seems so charmed. She goes, "It really does. It really does sound like a made up last name."
Yeah. So
John Benjamin here, he really reminded me. He just in general reminds me of like the love child of like. I want to say Bobcat Goldthwait and Charlie Day.
okay, I can see that. Yeah.
His actions here reminded me of what something like Charlie would do, and It's Always Sunny. Just a weird little guy.
Yeah, he's smoking weed in the mom's house. Martin's like, you can't smoke weed in my
He's
mom's
also
house.
checking out the mom.
He's checking out the mom. He's singing a song about wanting to bang the mom. And then he excuses himself to go to the bathroom. And Martin realizes, oh my God,
His MO is
he's going to shit in the sink.
Yep.
So he chases him, but he can't get in. He tells Orloff what's going on. They're all banging on the door, and he comes out. It's like, what? And they go in. They're like, he didn't shit in the sink. Breakthrough.
Yeah, breakthrough. We're going to start to get a lot of breakthroughs here soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. Then we find out he actually just shit in the tub.
Yeah.
So not as much of a breakthrough as you would think. So when they find out that he shit in the tub, he books it. He takes the moving truck that all of the other stuff is in, and just drives off. And Martin's like, you don't know where it's going. And he's like, fuck you. And that's the last time we see John Benjamin for quite some time.
Yeah, and during this time, Mr. Chanton calls to confirm that the costume is made. Like, it's got to be made. You're in. And not everyone knows this, but Marty does, that he did agree that he would make the costume.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Orloff does not know this information at this point in time.
That's true. So they go back to Dr. Orloff's house after the move, and Jimbo calls. Oh wait, no. First, Amy Poehler calls and leaves a message on the voice machine. The voice machine, the answering machine.
Yeah, they're at Dr. Orloff's house, like his actual house.
like where he lives, not his office.
Is this when they have another impromptu meeting with a strobe light?
Yeah, Dr. Orloff turns on a strobe light, which is very off-putting. It's like this is like the frequency that is medically appropriate for calming
Yeah,
people down.
if you have a anxiety or seasonal affective disorder,
I wrote down if you have any, there really should be an epileptic warning on this movie. This strobe light came in hot.
Oh, it did, yeah.
It was flashing really hot. So I just wanted to put a heads up out there. I mean, if you're going to watch this, beware. There's a very bright and flat, fast strobe light.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you've gotten this far, you're probably having a seizure by now. But yeah, seizure warning. There's a strobe light. Again, they're both really uncomfortable with it. They turn it off. Message from Amy Poehler. She's like, kind of confiding over the voicemail to Strippy, the girlfriend. She's like, I don't care that he has a small penis. You know what it's like, because Dr. Orloff also has a small penis. And then Martin and Orloff have our penises aren't that small moment.
And she highlights that Jimbo knows about their relationship.
Yeah, Jimbo knows about the relationship. She just had to tell him. Then we get the voicemail from Jimbo, who was like, I'm going to come over there. I'm going to kill your friend. And then within moments, he is there. He's ringing the doorbell.
And he's provoking, Dr. Orloff is provoking him during this. This is this huge hulking man, and he's trying to get buzzed into the apartment, and Dr. Orloff is pulling pranks. He's like cutting out on purpose, like beep, bop, 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 zzz, but he only presses the buzzer for a second, and Jimbo can never get in, just enraging him more than he's like, oh, you're here with the pizzas, right? Like, yeah, I'll buzz. Bzz. Like, I'm not here with the pizzas. Jimbo's freaking out.
Yeah, he's just egging him on.
Yeah, they egg him on, and then eventually they go to the door to like look at him and clown on him, I guess. And he does like a straight up like football bull run through the door, just breaks it down. And they go, shit, book it, and they run upstairs. They're running upstairs, like there's a million stairs for some reason. They get to the top floor, and the door to the roof is locked. And Martin goes, "Act like a mannequin." Wait, was it Dr. Orloff?
Dr. Orloff.
Dr. Orloff said,
because Martin's like, "There's what are you
that'll
talking
never work.
about?"
So they both like freeze frame in place. Jimbo runs up and he looks at him and he's like, "What the fuck? There's just mannequins up here." And then Martin just full tilt kicks him in the balls. And they book it downstairs, and they go to the office to have a little micro session.
And then you hear,
But they have to stop for Chinese food because they had the best Chinese food in the city.
and you hear on the answering machine when they get there that David Cross's character is still calling. He's like, I sent you a transcript. I'd really like to hear back from you. Like, why aren't you calling? Taking a chance. Like, why aren't you here?
Oh, FYI, I wrapped the script in a brick and threw it through your window.
And then in this, we get a more serious scene where Martin steps on something and looks down, and Dr. Orloff had a gecko in the office, and Dr. Orloff like doesn't put it lightly, but he says, things die, that was a shame. Like, you didn't do it on purpose. I saw what happened. And Martin goes, "Why am I always killing things?" Which is clearly what he thinks is going on, and that's the psychological problem that we're having here.
Yeah, and so now they're sitting down, and Martin is explaining he's starting to get into his feelings a little bit. And Dr. Orloff, in typical fashion, says, "Hey, do you mind if I eat?" Because they have all this Chinese food that they picked up. So
It did make me want to eat egg rolls this whole time.
Oh my God, I really, even to this moment, I would like an egg roll.
yeah.
So delicious.
So he takes out an egg roll. He's like, "Here, have an egg roll. I got a baker's dozen." And the egg roll is triggering for Martin. He starts freaking out. He's like, "Why did you have to smoke? Why did you have to die?" And Dr. Orloff is like now starting to just harangue him with egg rolls.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to the egg roll, Marty? What happened to the egg roll?
And he's getting pistol whipped.
He's getting pistol whipped with the egg roll. And so now we get the story about, he's like, "You know what? I killed an actor who was playing an egg roll. I designed the costume with eyes. They didn't want eyes, so I caved in."
There was no Sherpa.
There was no Sherpa.
And this guy smoked.
Yeah, and why did he have to smoke? So we cut to a flashback. There's an egg roll just like wandering down a boardwalk, like ramming into people. And then he goes to have like a cigarette break by the river, and he's able to smoke through the costume somehow.
It looks like he tore a hole.
He had like
into
a smoke hole, but he couldn't see anything. As he was smoking, he like stumbled into the river, and Marty's dictating. He's like, the foam costume had just like it sunk like a rock.
Yeah, it filled up immediately. Just sank right down.
And the actor drowned. His parents had to. And this, Paul, I feel bad for you because there was sax music, which I know isn't your favorite. But they showed the parents watching as they like used a crane to pull this egg roll.
The parents
out of
had to watch their son being dragged out of the river.
Yeah. And so, breakthrough, we've gotten it. We now understand Marty's problem, why he tried to kill himself. Dr. Orloff is feeling real good about this. Then all of a sudden, the crazy American Gladiator lady from earlier like drops out of a ceiling tile or like a vent or something. And
she's been hiding there.
She's
the whole
been
time.
Well, because I mean, they locked her in the room before when they escaped. I don't know if we covered
creative.
that, but yeah, she was hiding out. So they run up and they hide on top of a bookshelf to get away from her. All of a sudden, David Cross shows up to confront him about why he hasn't gotten back to him about the screenplay.
And it was noted that I had my screenplay and I attached it to a brick and I threw it through your window. Clearly, you must have read it. Clearly, it's not good enough for you. And total drama queen.
Right, he's being a big old preemie right now. But then he sees the crazy lady and he runs up and joins him on the bookshelf. Then Martin goes, "Oh, so the reason this woman is, I don't think we ever talked about this. The reason the woman is crazy is because she was under hypnotherapy and everyone around her was her father, right?
Or husband.
Ex-husband.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Okay.
And the safe word.
Yeah, and the no safe word. So he goes, "You know what? I remembered the safe word, which is, and you're out of it." And then she comes out of it.
After she fights Jimbo for a little bit.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jimbo shows up. That's why David Cross runs up onto the bookshelf.
Yeah, so they all basically team up against Jimbo.
Yeah, so basically Jimbo's there, and they all, including the woman who's now out of a trance, they team up against Jimbo and try to I don't know, corral him with a mattress. The same mattress that they used to corral the woman earlier.
And this is where we get a massive set of breakthroughs that
Everyone has a breakthrough.
yeah, so Jimbo breaks down and he apologizes. David Cross also has a breakthrough and he's like, I need to trust myself and I need to stop throwing scripts with bricks through windows.
Yeah.
So everyone, the woman realizes why she needs to forgive,
Right.
and everyone is happy. It's almost like a happy ending. And then Marty says, guys, I changed a call, and it was back to this again. And it was, what do you mean you changed your call? He's like, I actually designed these suits for these kids. Like there's going to be another accident. They're going to cover up these deaths. We need to get out of here. They're like, okay. And they all respect him enough that they all join him and they basically form a mega group, and they're going to tear down this, I don't know.
It's like a Chinese food gala.
Yeah,
where they're introducing ribs into the world.
Yeah.
Like when you come up with a new product, I guess you have some killer party. I don't know, a soiree.
Yeah.
Fundraiser.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
they're not raising funds. They're just debuting this new product and design.
Well, in this universe, China Chef is such a big deal that the introduction of a new frozen food product, or in my mind, China Chef is like Panda Express.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's also like they're debuting like a some kind of ride that you would see at Universal Studios. Like there's this interactive component. It's like, we're coming out with these ribs, but not only do we have these ribs, we have these video walls, and you're going to see the backstory of these riblet girls lost in the woods, and they're eventually going to turn into live action people out of the video screen and in front of you on a bridge. It's super weird.
It is super weird. So they walk into this like room, this event center, and they walk in like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, spy
style.
music is playing.
And you can see like there's like a vat of spare rib sauce that's like bubbling like lava, and there's a rickety old bridge, and in front of it there's a video screen, and you can see like the precursor, like the girls in the rib costume.
I just like all the dialogue. It's like, we got lost in the woods. And we're just tender ribs. No one
I
sees
don't know.
us.
The China Chef wants to catch us because we're so saucy.
Think about this. They actually probably did this. Found like 3 girls.
Oh, no.
They made the rib
For
costume.
sure.
These are real life, rib
This
costumes.
is not just a comedy movie. It's also a documentary about the making of this rib movie.
The riblet trio.
Mm-hmm.
It's been enough footage to actually do it. I mean, they only show maybe a minute of them running through the woods and crossing bridges, but the bridge was real.
The bridge was real,
It's
yeah.
a live presentation.
Yeah, so the whole thing is like you're watching them run through the jungle on the video screen, and then eventually the video screen retracts, and then you have the actresses or the rib girls, whatever, run across this bridge, and China Chef is going to hit a button, and the bridge is going to explode, and they're going to fall into the spare rib sauce, and China Chef is going to win with the saucy spare ribs.
And half of this comes to pass where these girls now are coming out of the video. So this is, there, and now they're coming from behind the stage for the live action component. And Mr. Chan does hit, some kind of explosive on the bridge, and the bridge does collapse.
And there's throughout all of this, they're trying to stop it. There's like some karate fights. The guy with the chainsaw shows up again.
H. John Benjamin's back.
Yeah, and like when it looks like they're losing, John Benjamin rappels from the ceiling, and
in an outfit that is camouflage, you think, but it is noted that it is apparel made out of Martin's mom's couch.
yeah, why is he wearing my mom's
Oh,
couch?
wow. I didn't guess that.
Yeah,
And he's shooting paintballs.
he's shooting paintball. So this gives Martin time to like try to run up and save the girls who are now dangling over this molten.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not going to kill anyone. They can't make me do it. I'm going to save it. I'm
Right.
going to change it.
So he's climbing up there, and he grabs one of the hands out of the spare rib, but he's slipping a little bit. But then who decides to come and help him? But Jimbo.
Yeah.
Jimbo climbs up. He gets to the top of the bridge, but he can't reach. He can't reach Martin, who needs something to grab onto.
Certainly does.
He does. So
But what's long enough?
what's long enough and sturdy enough? And so we're gonna flash back briefly because we didn't really cover this because clearly I just want to talk about Jimbo's penis a lot. One of Amy Poehler's narrations when she's talking to Martin about Jimbo's penis, which she does a couple times in the movie. She's like, sometimes like he hangs my purse from it.
The backpack.
Backpack.
Yeah,
Like,
it's mentioned. She mentions that yes, he does it with a backpack.
he breaks chairs with it.
Because before he breaks popsicle sticks.
Popsicle sticks. That's right.
When he tries to break into Doc Orloff's house, that's what Marty says. He's like, he hangs a backpack on his penis, and Dr. Orloff gets very serious and goes,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, he uses the only thing at his disposal, and he unravels his giant penis, and you don't see it. You see the shadow of it, in pantomime style.
It's a harrowing tale.
It's a harrowing tale, and you see Martin like kind of shuddering and going, is this really the answer?" And Dr. Orloff looking on from the ground, nodding and going, "This is going to be good for you." And so he does. He grabs onto the Jimbo's dick, and pulls them all to safety. Then we have the China chef guy who was Mr. Chan, who was really upset. We go John Woo here.
Yeah, totally. I wrote John Woo that he throws back his suit jacket, takes out 2 revolvers, one on each side, like a little upper on his hip.
Doves are flying. Yeah.
Doves fly in the background.
Love the doves flying.
Yeah, and the scene is cut short, almost comedically so, by him getting hit in the face with a pie by none other than it's not Stavros, it's something else Greek.
Pedros.
So, whatever. The strip club pie guy, he is here catering the event. Martin Petros. Martin got him the hookup, and so he throws a pie at Mr. Chen's face, takes him out, kind of gives him the giddy up, and then
Marty quits. He's like, "I'm done with this."
He goes, I quit. I'm done with it. And then we have a nice freeze frame, basically.
Yeah, everyone seems super happy. Everyone is made up. It's very clear that Martin will be dating Patty, and it is said at the very end that Doc Orloff does want to marry his girlfriend. And
they do propose. That's he proposes and she says yes. That's like the last scene of the movie.
I think Keith is playing. He's like singing a song. I can't remember what it was, but he starts singing something, and it kind of fades into the credits with him.
Is it the song about fucking Martin's mom again, or is it a different one?
Leave that good life behind.
Okay.
That might be a real song, might not. That's what I wrote.
I couldn't tell if any of the songs in this movie were real or not.
Some of them were, some of them weren't. We should have paid more attention to the credits there on those songs, but some of them were.
Songs aren't real. What's the legality on that? Can we use them?
Yeah, we can.
Done.
Yeah. And there is, I've seen this movie probably 6 or 7 times in my life now. There is, it's not really a post-credit scene. There's just like Martin and Orloff are talking over the credits after a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's like they're in a new session, but it's in a new session, but it almost sounds like they're pitching the script of this movie.
It's kind of like they're breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
That like Martin is narrating, is like, what is happening? Like, who are all these people? And Orloff is like, oh yeah, I mean, this is a movie. Like, we're doing a movie about this. He's like, oh, because I thought it was weird that there was a guy with a microphone on a stick. He's like, oh, that's a boom operator. Like, this has just all been a thing. And then it's like they're narrating the credits. He's like, I've been here every day. I haven't seen half these people. It's kind of weird, but I just never noticed it. So I guess if you watch it, when you watch it, stick around for the credits, and then wait to see who the songs were by, because you'll probably want to. There's no soundtrack, but you want to load up like LimeWire and try to assemble this piece by piece, because it's a banging soundtrack.
It is.
Yeah. So what do we? Did we miss anything? Is there anything we want to circle back on? Did we capture the spirit of this properly?
Great movie.
Yeah. So we think we all
everything. Just going down the bullet points of what this movie encompasses. It's pretty much all in all just one. I don't want to say one long Upright Citizens Brigade skit, but
it kind of is. That's fair.
Compromised of a bunch of short, medium, and long Upright Citizens Brigade skits, just kind of like melded together into a movie.
Yeah, but we all like this movie.
Oh, definitely.
I like this movie.
I love it, just as a fan of the trope and just as a movie in general. It's funny. It has a type of humor that I don't think everybody could really jive with, but
That's fair.
it has a particular type of humor. If you're not, you'll know right away within the first 5 minutes if this is for you. Because I feel like if it's not for you, you're going to turn it off. But
That's fair.
the movie will rope you in more and more if you do like this type of stuff.
Yeah. So I saw this movie quite a ways after it came out. Maybe up to 10 years after it came out. So by the time this movie came out, I was familiar with everyone in this movie from other things. But for me, it was really fun just seeing what, like, this was, for a lot of these folks, this was their first, like, quote unquote movie, not a sketch show or whatever. So that was kind of fun for me. But I mean, if I had seen this on TV when it aired, like, this would have been my first introduction to so many people who have become kind of like beloved character actors lately. Paul, you've been kind of silent here. What do you think?
I mean, I was thinking just like when I first saw this movie, and I saw it before both of you. It was, and I don't mean that like I saw it ahead of
Well, that was my next question. Was
you brought it to our attention?
Yeah, you brought it.
No,
yeah,
it was crazy because like to go through like again, not saying like I saw it before you. Lamar saw Upright Citizens Brigade, the show, before I ever did, and then I started watching it with him. And then it was me seeing this movie randomly, like maybe 20 minutes into it, or maybe I didn't see it all the very first time, but I just remember telling Lamar, I started watching this film. It was on Comedy Central. It has everyone from the Upright Citizens Brigade and other people that we knew. John Benjamin, we know from tons of stuff. My origins are Dr. Katz. So I could just hear his voice clearly. Everyone now knows, Bob's Burgers and, Archer. So, there's all these people that were seen. I knew Lamar's a huge fan of Mr. Show. He clearly knew David Cross.
It was nice to see David Cross in this way early. And he plays a typical David Cross character from any skit you can. I'm just a fan of sketch comedy shows. And this is
Hell yeah.
kind of a mini blend of Mr. Show and Upright Citizens Brigade. It's that type of humor if you're going down that avenue.
Yeah,
I like it.
It hits on all fronts. You left out an influential John Benjamin thing.
Yeah, I certainly did.
Did you? Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, so all in all, fun movie. Definitely recommended. Rabbit Troop Sucks recommends this movie. You should go out and buy it on DVD because I think that's literally the only way to do this.
Yeah. I've been reading the complaints on various sites about why this movie is so hard to
Are there
find,
lots of complaints? Is it just from like the three of us?
No, you'll be surprised.
There's other people that like this movie.
Well,
Okay.
they're kind of curious why it's not available. I really didn't know if they were liking the movie or not, but they do have a query as to why it's not more available. And I have theories, copyright theories. I don't know.
I kind of wonder if any of the actors involved are like embarrassed of it, and maybe trying to silence it.
I hope not. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know
mean,
what they would be embarrassed about. It's their type of humor.
Oh, totally. I don't
roll with it
think
if they want to
anything-
carry that around and have it on their resume. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Just all in all, solid film.
Yeah.
Solid comedy. If you're down for that thing, once again. Just not the perfect movie, but I mean, come on.
No, I guess the only thing that I can think of aside from any like music copyright, David Cross's portrayal is maybe a little tone deaf. His character couldn't be written today, probably.
Okay.
But other than that, like, and not to get too into the weeds with it, but like he's definitely playing like a kind of a stereotypical, like very effeminate, like mincing playwright.
Yeah, he's like that playwright.
Yeah.
It's-
And I mean, I hope this doesn't reflect poorly on me, but like, it's, I like David Cross and I think it's funny, but it's definitely like he couldn't have played that character today.
you can summarize and say it's dated.
It is very dated.
Well,
for sure.
I'm just going to throw this out to the entire cast of this movie. I mean, if you want to be on this show, you're just welcome to.
Yeah,
And so,
open invitation.
Take that. Take that. Amy Poehler, you want to watch a movie with us? David Cross, anyone in this movie, you just want to watch a movie with us and talk about it? I dare you to be on the show. Take that.
Yeah, we will. We
threw it out
won't.
there.
We won't pay for your flights.
Yep.
You can't stay with any of us. You'll have to get your own hotel rooms. The catering will be minimal, but you're welcome to join us here in the studio anytime.
Amy Poehler, you could stay with me and my wife for one day. I think that would be. I foresee some kind of like pajama party, like cotton candy, like fun movie night romp. So that's fine. But then the second day you gotta go.
Okay.
You can go to the hotel. Go to the hotel the second day. The first night you could stay on a couch, and I will provide the cotton candy.
Wow, you threw it out there.
Day two.
I like the invite.
Day two, you're out.
That's very generous.
Answer his call.
All right, Jimbo, you can stay with me. The rest of you guys are on your
Do
own.
you have room for Jimbo? That dude was huge.
I'll reinforce the guest bed. He was big. Yeah.
Lamar, going forward, I know I'm putting you on the spot. We've talked about Fortress. We've talked about a couple other films. Any movies that are coming to your mind that you're like, we need to watch this, we need to revisit this, or anything?
I remember we talk on and off during the week, and I remember you mentioned to, I think you mentioned this on a previous episode as well, Dungeon Master. Was that the name of it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You read me the premise of it, and I'm all in on that. Yeah, you did put me on the spot because I have something in my mind, but I can't really think of it right now. I'm like, when I'm on that show, I was going to recommend that we review that movie, but I can't remember the name of the movie right now,
All right,
unfortunately.
we'll get there next time.
We'll get there eventually. If I think of anything, I will let you know.
Heck yeah.
There's a lot up there, and we watched a lot of movies over the years.
We
I
have.
feel like we can go back in our memories, pick out one of those obscure, random, weird ones, bring it up. And
I
review
own
it.
some of those weird ones.
Yeah.
We just pop it in.
What we need is
might be-
Dr. Orloff to put us under hypnotic regression so we can remember some of these movies.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, maybe I have to go through my movie library and maybe pick out one that is going to be an A+ to review.
Well, we'll definitely be looking at some new movies soon. So,
Yeah.
you could always hit us up. We are on all forms of social media. I shouldn't say all, but we are on Instagram and Facebook.
Those are the important ones.
You could email us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. You could visit us directly at rabbittroopsucks.com. We're on, I think, every podcast player and entity: Google, Apple, Amazon.
If you're
Audible.
getting wherever you're getting podcasts, you should be able to find us there. If you're having trouble, shoot us a message. We'll look into it. But you should be able to find us.
And if you want to hear any reviews about some weird films that you've seen, we're definitely open to it. If you're a local artist and you want us to feature any kind of your music or any of your music, let us know. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. We'll insert some music. We'll do cross promotions, and email us recommendations if there's something you want to talk about or hear us talk about. Let us know. In the past, we've announced what we're going to do next. I don't think we're going to do that anymore. At least not regularly. We want it to be a surprise.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Surprise them.
Yeah. So I mean, next. I don't want to even say next week because I don't know when this is going to air. But next week or the week after, because we might go to every other week. We'll see. We'll decide later. But at some point in the next week or two, you have another episode of this to look forward to. But you can always revisit the catalog. You can stream it on rabbittroopsucks.com. There's going to be T-shirts. There'll be links on the website.
You could play it backwards, and you might even hear satanic messages.
You'll hear if you play backwards, you'll hear something. Yeah.
I've seen those T-shirts in person. I gotta say they're awesome.
Do you like it? Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
We did a test run, and I think they came out all right.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, look forward to more merch if you really want to rep the troop. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we'll just wrap this up unless you got something else that's worth talking about.
I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I would watch
Yeah.
it. I would watch it again at any point in time.
Yeah, and I will because my girlfriend had never heard of this. Well, I'm surprised. I usually make people watch this as just kind of like an introduction to knowing me as a person, but somehow she made it this far without seeing
This
it.
is
So
your quintessential Mike gate. How
Well,
you
there's
get
like-
inside Mike.
because I'm such a simple idiot. I feel like there's like a collection of media that you need to watch just as a primer to understanding anything that I say, because I talk mostly in like Simpsons quotes and yeah, so there's just like a baseline media that you need to know before you can communicate effectively with me, because I'm kind of a moron.
I like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just telling you who I am. Just give
Right,
me
like here's a
5
collection. Yeah,
movies
here's a DVD.
three
It's
shows.
it's 5 hours. Just get through this, and we'll be fine. But yeah, so I got to watch it with her again later. So I'm gonna watch it again soon, and you all should too.
And you can get her some wing sauce.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have very saucy spare ribs
You gotta
when
have
this
it.
is happening. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Having
No.
some spare ribs while you eat the.
Well, and I gotta have an egg roll now, or a baker's
yeah.
dozen.
And to leave off with a thought for Lamar that we always talk, we transmit from and record from Denver, Colorado, and we should maybe pick another Colorado movie soon. We started off with Phantoms. We've talked about some other films. I keep
Yeah.
seeing films that are like in Colorado, but they're not really filmed here. I would like to bring up some other films that are actually filmed here. So we have some ideas. So Lamar, maybe that's one you want to look at. Like, what's filmed here, and what weird movie are we going to watch?
Yeah.
Movie that was just recently released. I don't know when this episode will release, but it's called Black Phone.
But it's not filmed in
It's
Denver,
not filmed
Colorado.
here, but there's some scenery here. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
hate when they do that. It's like,
Yeah.
let's go to Denver.
That might be like too real of a movie.
Yeah.
That's true.
yeah.
There's another movie that I was looking up that we watched, that Cold Pursuit movie.
Also not filmed here.
Yeah.
They did that again.
But they had some
Like,
skyline
wow.
shots. Yeah, and then you have like
You gotta come here and film.
you do. But like the obvious choice, and every time I mention this podcast to someone, they go, "Things to do in Denver when you're dead." Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
sure. We should.
No.
Never?
I-
You
Oh,
never,
that
never.
movie sucks.
I'm like you, Mike. Yeah.
I don't-
I'm sorry.
I don't need to watch that.
I'd do it somewhere.
wanna do it?
Well,
Okay.
I'd just do it like somewhere, like in our infinite time that we have. That I wouldn't mind throwing that on the list.
All right, that movie's just boring.
I haven't seen it in ages, so I mean, you could totally be right.
I guess I haven't seen it in ages either. When I first saw it, I remember being bored with it. It's just it's like it's a good movie. It's like real. There's production quality. It doesn't really fit in the theme with like lost gems or whatever it is that we talk about. I don't know. Get me drunk enough, I'll talk about anything.
There we go.
I like what
That's
I'm
true.
hearing.
Yeah.
Well, not to get too deep into it, Colorado, but we'll definitely revisit some things Colorado specific with movies. As always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Rabbit Troop sucks.
Thank you for having me, guys. Rabbit Troop sucks.
Yeah, thanks for being
Anytime.
here.